coming to you live from the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University. It is Hockey Night in Fitchburg here on FATV, where tonight the Falcons of Fitchburg State University play host to the Owls of Westfield State. I'm John Gugerty, joined as always by Dan Bullock. Dan, Fitchburg State comes in on an unfortunate 5-game losing streak, including a very difficult loss this past Thursday to Anna Maria.
Absolutely. That was a game where the Falcons were plagued by a few defensive breakdowns, fell down 6-2 late in the second period. They swapped out goalies at that point, and that may have sparked the Falcons a little bit. Got a goal in the last few seconds of the second period, and then struck 3 times in the third, tying the game at 6 on a goal from Jeremy Millette with just under 3 minutes to go. But ultimately, it was not to be. Matthew Gilbert completed his hat trick with 37.1 seconds left for Anna Maria, and the Amcats took the victory by a score of 7-6, sending the Falcons onto a 5-game losing streak. They had not lost 5 games in a row since 2004. So it's been a little while since they've had a streak like this.
Fitchburg State's last win was way back in December, Saturday, December the 7th, a 5-1 victory over Framingham State. That game, Dan, brought the Falcons to 7-1 on the year, but with that 5-game losing streak, they're now 7-6, 4-3 in the MASCAC, currently in 4th place, just a point behind Salem State and a point ahead of UMass Dartmouth. Other side of the coin for the Owls of Westfield State, they come in 7-7 on the season. They are 3-4 in the MASCAC. They lost their last game back on Thursday, a 3-1 defeat at the hands of Salem State. But before that, Dan, they had won 3 in a row.
Indeed, they had beaten Assumption, Framingham State, and Riviere. That win against Assumption to start that winning streak will be a bit more significant today because the Owls will be starting Esteban Gauthier, a freshman goalkeeper who will be playing just his 2nd career game for the Owls. His first career game was that game against Assumption, in which he made 57 saves on 60 shots. So he's already been battle tested, thrown straight into the fire for his first career game. And now for his first career conference game, he gets to face a Fitchburg State team that has taken 9 of the last 10 meetings between these two sides, including the last 4 games.
You mentioned Fitchburg State has won the last 4 games against Westfield. That includes a very long winning streak, Dan, that goes even longer than that here in Fitchburg. Of course, with Westfield State, I mentioned they had won their 3 games in a row. All of those games were on the road. They came home for the game against Salem State, dropped that. Now they're back on the road, so maybe the road is lucky for the Owls today.
Could be a little bit. The Owls have definitely played a backloaded schedule in terms of home games. This is going to be their 10th road game of the season compared to just 5 games at Amelia Park this season. But Westfield, 7-7, they've been up and down. A pretty young team. They have 10 freshmen on this team, but it's a sophomore in Christopher Moraldo who leads the team in scoring, 8 goals and 5 assists for 13 points. Cooper Board and Emile Pichette are 2 other players to watch, also in double-figure points on the campaign.
Mentioned Louis Ouellette as well, 3 goals, 6 assists for him, a total of 9. But of course, the Falcons have scorers of their own. Perhaps none more so than Sammy Rennick. He leads the team with 13 points, although Nick Milhorn is the goal leader. He has 6 on the campaign.
Indeed, and those are 2 centerpieces of the 4th line, which the Falcons will be starting today. This season and last season, it's been the 4th line, counterintuitively, that has been the most successful line for the Falcons this season. The Falcons, the last time they lost 6 in a row was that very same losing streak from 2003-2004. They will try to prevent falling for the 6th time in a row for the first time in 21 years. We'll throw it down to Jim LaPointe for the starting lineups and the national anthem right here on FATV.
The NCAA, the MASCAC, and Fitchburg State promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team reps will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site of competition. Please respect all athletes on the ice and enjoy the spirit of the game. It's now time to introduce the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Owls. At forward, a junior from Salem, Mass. Number 9, Cooper Board. A forward, sophomore from Saint Eustache, Quebec. Number 11, Emile Pichette. At forward, a freshman from Lake Worth, Florida, number 14, Jesper Seberg. At defense, a freshman from Helsinki, Finland, number 21, Jair Puranlati. At defense, a senior from Saint Lazare, Quebec, number 21, Raphael Sagan. And in goal, a freshman from Saint Julie, Quebec, number 31, Esteban Gauthier. Westfield is coached by Bob Mealy, assisted by Andrew Furbush. And now the starting lineup for your Fitchburg State Falcons. At forward, a junior from Leominster, Mass, number 7, Jeremy Mallet. At forward, a senior from Salisbury, Mass, number 22, Sam Rennick. At forward, a sophomore from Brownstown, Michigan, number 24, Nicholas Milhorn. At defense, a junior from Littleton, Colorado, number 2, Nolan Sargent. At defense, a junior from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, number 15, Trenton Skaggs. And in goal, from Harrison Township, Michigan, number 30, Freddie Soderberg. Fitchburg State assisted by Dean Fuller in his 41st season, assisted by associate head coach Tom Patty, assistants Chris Kine, Mike Chartrand, Josh Miller, and Cam Isabel. Officials for tonight's game, Pat Sharon, Evan Gagonis, linesmen Ryan Goff and Cam Jakes. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you rise, if you are able, and remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem.
Hockey Night in Fitchburg here on FATV. I'm John Gugerty, joined as always by Dan Bolak. We are just about ready to see the Falcons of Fitchburg State play host to the Owls of Westfield State. But while we have a moment, we want to let you know that if you are in town in Fitchburg, we absolutely encourage you to come on down to the Wallace Civic Center just off John Fitch Highway on the campus of Fitchburg State University. But Dan, if folks are at home and snuggled all nice in their beds, or perhaps if they know people in Westfield who would like to watch this game, there are a myriad of ways that they can watch FATV.
Absolutely. FATV.org/civic will take you to the rights to the live stream. You can also find this broadcast on the FATV app, available in the Apple Store, Google Play Store, and then on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV devices over the top on the television, and so many different ways to watch.
And if that was too much information, because frankly it's too much for us a lot of the time, you can just go to fatv.org/watch-FATV, and that will tell you how to watch FATV, which, if you're hearing me, you're doing now. I guess you might be listening to FATV, but we count that as watching. You're observing FATV.
The color-on-color matchup today. The Owls in the powder blue uniforms going right to left in this first period. The Falcons in the alternate gold uniforms will go left to right. As Skaggs moves around for Sammy Rennick on the right side. Rennick gets it back, throws it to the near side off the boards. Taken by Skaggs, tosses it up the ice, and then Esteban Gauthier will get that covered up, but they're going to call the icing before the cover-up there. as they'll rule that Fitchburg did not win the race to the hash marks, and the faceoff comes all the way down to one side of Freddie Soderberg with 20 seconds gone. Soderberg making his 12th start of the season, 6-4 record, 274 goals against, 914 save percentage. Those numbers have plummeted a little bit in the last 3 games in which Soderberg has conceded 15 goals and has been pulled twice. The defense has had some rough times on this 5-game losing streak at moments.
They have not exactly been defensive struggles, these games the Falcons have lost.
And for the Owls, Esteban Gauthier, just his second career game, 57 of 60 against Assumption back on December the 12th. That's his only career appearance. That was a win for the Owls. Here is Chris Zapata trying to get a hold of that loose puck in the left circle, but it'll be dispossessed by Danny Finnegan. Owls will try to push it up the boards on the far side into the zone. Here's Christopher Moraldo. He's the leading scorer for the Owls. He's pushed in the boards, and now here's Jackson College. Stretch pass intercepted by Finnegan. Thrown back to the red line, dumped in. And a whistle coming out of that with a minute 2 gone in this game.
Little boy in an Oliver Cookson jersey, which is about the size of the little boy, goes chasing after the souvenir puck.
Is knocked out of play. Faceoff will come right at center ice. Just as if we were starting a brand new hockey game. Off the draw, here's Mateo Orme-Lynch on the left side, one of 3 Frenchmen on this roster.
And 2 Orme-Lynches.
And one of 2 Orme-Lynches, twin brother Elouan, the other one. The other Frenchman is Alexander Beauvais, wearing number 3. Those 3 were aligned for much of this season, but have been broken up the last couple of games.
You can't have that many Frenchmen close together. There's problems.
And although Westfield State doesn't have any players from the country of France, they do happen to have a number of players from the province of Quebec, 7 in all.
French Canadians, that's even worse.
Shot taken by Declan Bronte, who's Australian, to get into this multinational affair. That's going to be gloved by Gauthier, who is a rarity in ice hockey. He is a catch-right goalie.
Don't see too many of those. Favors the left hand with the paddle.
He's got his first stop of the contest with a minute 39 gone. Battling for off the boards. Here's on the left side in the slot. Cookson with a shot, patted away by Gauthier. Toivo Kramer for Alexander Beauvais. Behind the net, he's getting tied up with an Owl. Beauvais trying to keep control of the puck. Now squeezed off the puck by 2-3 different Owls. And coming up the near side, here's Nicholas Coppola. He'll push it into the zone. Trent Skaggs first to arrive. Swings it around the boards to the far side. Kept in. And on the right side by William Chaussee. Now on the right side, a shot. Misses the net from deep in the right circle. To the near side, Falcons able to get it out of the zone. Colin Rowe had that last shot for the Owls. Falcons bring into the offensive zone. Drop on the left side. Shot can't be gotten cleanly away. And Bryce O'Rourke wearing 29, sometimes a goalie number, sometimes a skater number, trying to move that up ice. Dominic Balboni throws it in. Soderberg gets a piece of it, and that one ends up just going over the short glass and out of play.
17:26 to go here, first period. Shots on goal 2-1 in favor of Fitchburg State in the early going. And Dan, you mentioned that Westfield's goaltender plays catches with the right hand. What are really the differences attacking into a catch right goalie as opposed to a catch left?
Soderberg makes a save there, and I think, part of it is conditioning too, because you're trying to find, with goalies, what are their weaker sides, and oftentimes you'll see that stick side maybe a little weaker in terms of getting that paddle in position, because you have a little more freedom with the glove. And so you maybe just, you're used to shooting in a certain spot of the net. You're used to shooting on the right side, the left side, if you will, to challenge the stick side, but it's the opposite way around for those catch right goalies. So sometimes you have to be a little more aware of that.
But for players who have gotten to this level, playing at D3, playing for Fitchburg State, there's no chance they've never encountered a catch right goalie before, right?
I mean, catch right goalies are definitely a rarity. I'd estimate probably about 5% of goalies catch with their right hand. I'm one who does, but I also am one of those rarities who likes to catch with his dominant hand as well. There's not too many of those around there, although Andrei Vasilevsky, who is a catch left goaltender, does so because he's a left-handed goalie. He catches with his dominant hand because in Russia, they didn't have gloves for him that went on the right hand. So he had to just learn how to catch like any other goalie, basically. that just goes to show, the scarcity of equipment sometimes.
I thought the saying was in Soviet Russia, glove catch you.
There's a shot to go for Westfield. Soderberg made the initial save, and on the rebound, the Owls potted in 200 seconds into the contest. Emile Pichette will lead the handshake line, would be his 6th goal of the season. As a sophomore, he's one of those Quebecois players from Saint-Eustache. I have zero confidence if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Saint-Eustache. I took 3 years of French in high school.
Took a little bit of French. Wasn't the best at it. Well, the college one I was. Not so much in not so much in middle school. Owls hold in the right circle. They scored on their 3rd shot on goal in this contest. It's battling on the right side. Emile Tremblay. Now a shot from the right point. Ends up going wide of the cage behind the net. Thrown about in the boards by Tremblay. Looking for Moraldo in the right corner. Now the Falcons trying to get out of the zone. Zapata with a touch on to the neutral zone. Finnegan back to pick that one up. Go D to D, stretch it forward. Trying to find Tremblay again. Players getting tangled up. An Owl loses his stick. Here's Declan Bronte. He's drawn into the lineup for today's game. He was not in the lineup for Thursday night's game against Anna Maria. Down the ice that'll go, and that will be ruled obtainable as Sargent was getting onto the ice, but the puck came right to him. Might have gone for icing otherwise, but with him coming out of the bench like that, with that burst of speed, it guaranteed it was not going to be given.
Tried to jump over the puck and be like, no, I wasn't here. I couldn't have touched it. He could have touched it.
On the right side, Hunter Dunn. Moving it to the left side. Dunn in control of it. I will note there's a number 11 on the ice who I believe, based on the nameplate, is Elouan Orme Lynch. He's wearing 11 today as opposed to the 33 he's been wearing this year. I believe it's because this set of jerseys doesn't have a number 33. But here's Elouan. Onto the left side for Dunn. Now Mateo Orme Lynch. Around behind the net. Dunn. Now in front. One-timer. Blocked in front. Mateo Orme Lynch had the shot there, as it's dumped in on goal by Raphael Sagan. Thrown out of the zone, Balboni dumps it right back in, glove down by Soderberg. Falcons will hold behind the net as they change up the lines. 14:23 to go, first period, 1-0 Westfield State. They still haven't announced the goal from earlier. But Emile Pichette did get credit from Cooper Board and Jesper Seberg, says the live stats. We have access to those when we're doing college games. Battling forward on the right side half boards, Cook's in. Nick Weber there as well. He's drawn into the lineup for today's contest as well. He replaced Jack Saavedra in the lineup, while Declan Bronte replaced Jack Johansson, a rare scratch for him. Now into the Falcon zone. 4 different players trying to dig at it at the visitors' locker room doors. Official saying, move the puck. Do something with it, please. 5th Falcon waiting again in the fray. Eventually, Westfield wins that battle. As it pops out to the right circle, held by the Owls. Chase Perry with the shot is stopped by Soderberg. He'll hold for a draw with 13:20 to go in the first. 1-0 Westfield.
Falcons had a little bit of sustained possession during that last run of play, Dan, but really for the most part, Westfield State has dominated. They've had more chances, more possession of the puck, and obviously they have the goal that's given them the early lead.
Westfield is 5-1 when they strike first. The Falcons are 1-4 when they are the ones who concede the first goal.
There's got to be a psychological element of play for Fitchburg State as well. You've lost 5 in a row and now you're trailing. It's easy for those doomy thoughts to creep in.
Players getting tangled up in the neutral zone, but now a 2-on-1 develops from Board. A shot, save, rebound! Turned aside as well, and the Falcons clear it out of danger.
Christian Halbig is the hero for Fitchburg State. Soderberg had made 2 great saves, but was sprawled on his backside. There was a loose puck trickling toward the goal line, and Halbig was able to grab it and get it out of there.
Shot from the left point, patted away by Gauthier. Rebound goes to the near side. And battling for the neutral zone, Cooper Board, trying to pick it along. Wanted Emile Pichette. Now comes back into the Falcons' zone. Millette, left side. Tried to get it back to Millette, couldn't get it on his blade. Around the board to the right side, to the left side. Pichette will get there first. Millette trying to battle there. Also there, Raphael Sagan. A whole lot of French names. From the left side point, it's pushed out of the zone all the way back into the Falcon end. Declan Bronte passes up left side into the zone. A shot puts wide of the cage into the right wing corner. Owls will get there first. Here's Moraldo on the left side. Moraldo cutting in, shoots, saved by Soderberg. Had a little bit of trouble holding on to the puck on the rebound, but he's able to dive on that one and cover it for a draw. 11:45 to go in the first. 1-0 Westfield, shot 7-3 in favor of the Owls.
Was panic at the Civic Center for Freddie Soderberg as he made that save, but the rebound fell very juicily in front of him. Christopher Moraldo was crashing in. Soderberg had to dive out to cover it up and draw the faceoff.
Falcons have been outscoring opponents 18-10 in the first periods this season. The Owls outscore opponents 14-10 in the first periods. The Falcons are generally a little better in the first 20. That wasn't the case 2 nights ago, and currently it's not the case as the Falcons ice it.
You mentioned, Dan, Fitchburg State fell behind 6-2 in their last game. They were able to tie that one up. Didn't end the way the Falcons wanted, but they have shown some resiliency.
Indeed they have. They would hope to never be in a deficit like that again in the near future.
You'd rather not, but at least you know you can deal with it.
Now a shot goes wide, a rebound, chance goes behind the net as well. A couple of good chances for the Owls there. Nicholas Koppel had one of those chances for Westfield. That one is going to be snared by Aiden Winslow on the Owl bench.
Can you get credit for a save when you're not even in the game?
Well, we can give him credit for catching that puck very nicely.
Okay.
But the thing is, there's not a net in front behind him right now.
There is a net. It's just made out of hockey sticks.
Well, he protected those hockey sticks.
Good.
Winslow, a freshman from Jacksonville, has a .938 save percentage, leads the MASCAC, but gets the night off tonight.
You wouldn't want a hockey puck to hit a bunch of hockey sticks. Those things are dangerous.
Things will go clattering everywhere on the bench. Left wing corner of the Owl zone, out to the left point, shot from distance, patted away by Gauthier. Hunter Dunn backhanding it around the boards, out to the far side. Can't be kept in the zone. And all the way back into the Falcons' end. Held it goes to Skaggs on the near side. Stretched up, touched on the right side of the red line. So Gauthier will come in around the boards. To the far side, it's going to be controlled by the Owls. Skated up on the left side. Shot goes well wide off the stick of Dominic Balboni. Hunter Dunn in the right wing corner. Tries to move that one along. Near side turned over. Balboni trying to get a hold of that puck. Falcons stretching up a little bit. Dunn. He'll be lofted into the zone on target. Gauthier wants to cover it, but there are no Falcons anywhere near, so he must play it. You can only cover it when you're actively being checked. Although Falcons probably wouldn't have minded the offensive zone faceoff. On the right side, Bryce O'Rourke into the zone. O'Rourke on the right side. Weber will intercept. Here's Toivo Kramer. Kramer up the right wing. Shot through traffic. Made its way to Gauthier. Had to turn that aside with a little bit of trepidation. Now a turnover. Beauvais shot gloved by Gauthier. 9:32 to go in the first. 1-0 Westfield in front.
Gauthier had to deal with both of the extremes of saves you have to make as a goaltender, Dan. First, there was the slow-moving, trickling, bouncing puck that you're never quite sure where it's going to go. And then just for a change of pace, there's an 80-mile-an-hour rocket square at your face. He handled both well.
Shots now 7 apiece. The Falcons have had the last 4 shots on target. So we're past the halfway point of this first period of play. Westfield up 1-0 on a goal by Emile Pichette. Now on the right side, a chance patted away by Soderberg. Rebound, scores! Soderberg made the initial save with the toe, but there was an owl right at the top of the paint on the right side to pot that one home. And Westfield leads 2-0. Emile Tremblay leads the handshake line. Both the Emiles have struck for Westfield.
Soderberg was able to handle the initial shot, but the rebound was right there. Tremblay jumped on it. He had a wide open net, and he found it.
Tough to hang it on a goalie when it's like a 1-foot rebound there. That's just Westfield getting superior positioning deep in the paint and poking that loose puck home. But just those moments where the Falcons are caught out of position just enough. They left Westfield in the most dangerous places on the ice, and they're able to strike for their second goal in this contest. They lead 2-0. Shot from the right side will be deflected up into the net and get out of play. We finally get the announcement for the first goal. That was so long ago. Assists go for Louis Ouellette and Christopher Moraldo. And for Tremblay, that's his 5th goal of the season. It's from Saint-Bruno de Montaville, Quebec. Definitely the longest name on this roster. Now a turnover, a steal, and a score! Soderberg tried to poke check it, and it popped over him and into the net. It's 3-0 Westfield. 2 goals in 40 seconds for the Owls.
And you can see the frustration on Freddie Soderberg at having let that one in, slamming the mask back down over his face. And Dean Fuller's going to take his timeout right now, get his team back on their skates. They've been knocked on their backside in the last minute.
3-0 Westfield in front with 8:38 to go in the first. The Falcons, once again, are going to have to try to dig themselves out of a hole. As we mentioned, they came back from 4 goals down just 2 nights ago to tie the game before falling in the final minute. And the last time they played this Westfield State team, the Falcons actually took a 3-0 deficit in that contest. But we mentioned they've won their last 4 meetings against Westfield, so you know the ending to that story. The Falcons came back. They were down 4-2 with about 10 minutes to go in the game, scored 3 goals in 5:25, and they won the game 5-4.
It's been 20 years since a Falcon team had a losing streak as long as this one does. And for a lot of teams, that would be ancient history. One of the benefits for Fitchburg State of the longevity of their head coach, Dean Fuller, is he can say, I remember that. I was there.
That was half a tenure ago. That was during the 03-04 season, which may have been the worst season in Falcon history under Dean Fuller. The Falcons won 9 games that year.
9 times? They only won 9 times?
Back in and from a very deep angle there in Gauthier, where the bank shot was able to cover that up. And think about how blessed this program is in a sense that their worst season under Dean Fuller was a 9-win season.
That is true.
There are many teams in Fitchburg State history, some more recent than others, that have had worse seasons that are far fewer than 9 wins, or even a win percentage much worse than that.
There are teams in the MASCAC who would do a very many illegal things for the opportunity to win 9 times in a season. We're not going to name names other than Framingham State, but we're just going to say Framingham State a couple more times.
Well, you know, Framingham State they're good at women's basketball. They've been good at football for a long time.
That's true.
You've got to have a sink sport somewhere.
Sure.
A sport where you put like none of your stats into.
Ideally, it would be one where your team wouldn't catch strays from random other broadcasters, but you know.
Everybody's got one somewhere. Some schools have more than one, but we're not going to name sports. It goes to the right side off the boards. Amala tries to get to that one for the Falcons. Declan Bronte around the boards to the near side. Now at the blue line. Held for a moment there by Chase Perry. Owls are having trouble getting themselves situated correctly to be onside. Ultimately, they'll lose control of the puck. Go from one blue line to the other. Rainbows over the Falcons. Close enough to be obtainable, so no icing. Mateo May Lynch up the near side for Eloan. Eloan into the zone, lost the handle on it. Falcons dump it back in on target. Wouldn't have counted had it gone in. The Falcons were badly offside. Hunter Dunn with the steal in the right half boards, but he can't keep control of it. Cooper Board out to the near side, looking for Pichette, who has the first goal in this contest. Trenton Skaggs skating up on the right side. The defenseman looking around for a shooting angle, gets the shot off, stopped by Gauthier. Puck pounces into the paint for just a brief moment. No Falcon could do anything with it. Now that it comes back into the paint, Gauthier's right on top of that to cover for a draw. 6:58 to go, first period. Shots 11-8 in favor of Westfield, and it's 3-0 as well.
Absolutely terrifying moment there for Westfield State. That puck got shot off a cannon off a player's skate. Fortunately for the Owls, it found Bryce O'Rourke instead of any number of Falcons who would have been able to put it home.
Carlin Rowe had the last goal unassisted, just his second goal of the season, the junior from Boston, played for the Worcester Junior Railers. Bounced off the boards, he'll be knocked down by Skaggs at his own blue line. Goes D to D-ish. Found Toivo. Kramer's not a defenseman. Now
D to C.
That sounds better. Here's Cookson. Into the zone on the right side, backhands in the direction of goal, looking for someone in the slot, stolen away, a shot, stopped by Gauthier, and he holds for the draw. Good opportunity there, and there was a late shove there, which Kramer took exception to.
Kramer and O'Rourke were just exchanging pleasantries. Physical stick-whacking pleasantries. Those are the best kind, Jim.
I think that one falls under the one free slug.
Yeah. Well, they are French, a lot of them. It's an appetizer.
Shot from the right side boards by Isaiah McKinney is gloved by Gauthier. Of another draw to his left. Jeremy Millette to take the draw for the Falcons. The draw ultimately controlled for just a brief moment by Westfield. Falcons popped it out of the zone. As Coppola take a hit into the boards and move that one along. Here's Milhorn, he's onside. Milhorn on the left side, tried to make that pass, but Millette had already cut past where Milhorn was trying to put it. There's Millette, trying to swing into the zone, got in the way, was Rowe, and he'll dump it down ice. Soderberg will swing it around the boards, out to the far side. Falcons trying to move it up ice. Here's Milhorn, drops off left side, tries to feed Milhorn again. Found Tremblay instead, or Sagan. And the puck bouncing all around, and an elbow issued here. As one of the Owls is down.
I believe that's Steven Blengino, the freshman from Pribram in Czechia. He went down to the ice hard. Needed a little bit of time to get up, but he is walking off, or skating off rather, under his own power.
5:43 to go in the first period. First power play of the contest goes to Westfield State.
And it is Sammy Rennick who will serve 2 minutes.
He's in the sin bin for the first time this season. Westfield's power play is one of their weak spots this season. They are 3 for 57, that is 5%. Amazingly not the worst in the conference. MCLA is actually around 3.5%. Now on the right side, Skaggs trying to backhand it out of the zone. Shot from the right side, sticked up in the air by Soderberg. Rebound pops out to the left side where it's corralled by the Owls. Try to settle in the left wing corner. Now the Falcons trying to dig that out. Bodying players in the boards, 5 different players looking to dig that out of the left wing corner. Falcons finally get it. There is a Falcon who's down on the ice, and they'll blow the whistle here for the injured player with 4:55 to go in the first period.
Was part of that group meeting in the board stand, 5 players battling for the puck. As they were breaking, I think inadvertently, an Owls skate got caught in the skates of the Fitchburg player, and that Falcon went down face first. Did not take the bump well.
Rebecca Sure-Snow coming out onto the ice now to tend to the injured player. Being assisted by Oliver Cooks and Andrew Willison. Longtime trainer for the Falcon hockey team. 1:13 to go on the Owl power play, 4:55 to go in the first, 3-0 Westfield in front.
Can tell you that it is Nolan Sargent who is down for the Falcons. He's just getting up to his skates now. He'll be helped off the ice. Sargent, a junior from Littleton, Colorado. He's actually going to be taken straight to the locker room. He will go back behind the boards, and we'll keep an eye on him. See if he's able to get back into this contest.
Falcons will play with 5 defensemen in the interim. Their extra player today, Nick Weber, is a forward. Falcons have had to deal with a lot of injuries in recent games. This includes all 3 of the Macchione brothers. Mike, Marcus, and Max all have been suffering from various ailments.
You see 3 brothers are all missing the same game, and you think there's a bug going around. No, they just all got hurt.
All in different ways at different times, too. Jesper Seberg into the zone on the right side, tries to pass that one off. Falcons take it and spit it down the ice. 60 seconds to go on this man advantage. Falcons penalty kill on the season, 50 for 63. That's Westfield's. It's 80.4%, 37 for 46. The Falcons, though, have conceded 5 goals on the kill in the last 3 games. Westfield already with a bit of their pedal to the metal, and they really want to continue to drive this advantage forward, up 3-0, but here's Jackson Collins coming up the right side. Collins with a shot off the glove of Gauthier. He didn't have it cleanly, he thought he might have. Collins was the one who had that winning goal back in the last meeting between these 2 teams. It's off to the right side, swing around to the left, can't be handled cleanly by Seberg. To the right wing corner, Blangino battling for it, 10 seconds to go on the man advantage. Around the near side and out of the zone all the way down. William Chaussee will be the first to arrive to that one. As the Falcons trying to force a turnover. Penalty is up to Rennick. He comes out of the box right onto the ice. Falcons back to full strength as Milhorn will pull it out. Go back to the blue line, feed Rennick. Now back to Milhorn, leading goal scorer for the Falcons. He takes the shot, that's deflected into the glove of Gauthier. And then a clashing afterwards that Gauthier and other players took exception to. Now Bryce O'Rourke really trying to get into it with Oliver Cookson, and penalties will be given.
I think the Owls took exception to Cookson coming in. He may have accidentally bumped into or may have taken a nice little jabbing slap at the glove of Gauthier. A couple of different Owls were very displeased with that. Bryce O'Rourke chief among them. And now O'Rourke and Cookson will have some time to work out their differences. They will be sent to detention.
Looks like matching minors. .329 to go in the first, 3-0 Westfield in front. We'll see some 4-on-4 time. See how things go with a couple fewer bodies on the ice. Sammy Rennick in the right wing corner had a 4-point night 2 nights ago against Anna Maria. Goal and 3 assists. He's dispossessed by Cooper Board. Board will skate it up the left side. High rising shot over the crossbar. Comes out to Raphael Sagan. Sagan to the left side. Shot through a little bit of traffic by William Chaussee. Is going to be gobbled by Soderberg. Hold for a draw with 3:02 to go in the first.
I think that took a deflection off of Board's board as well as it was coming in, but Soderberg was able to handle it.
Roughing against O'Rourke, slashing against Cookson. Cookson's 3rd trip to the penalty box this season. For as fiery a player as Bryce O'Rourke is, that's only his 5th trip to the box. Along the left wing corner, Halbig moving it along. Left wing, shot by Eloan Orme Lynch, is gloved by Esteban Gauthier.
Falcons have looked a little more aggressive since coming out of the timeout. Unable to find the back of the net, but they certainly look capable of doing so.
High shooting first period, 13 apiece. That shot off the iron. Made its way all the way to Gauthier, but it found the iron before it found the back of the net. Orme Lynch on the near side. That puck gets squirted out to the Falcon end. Hunter Dunn up the right wing boards. Dunn protecting in the corner. Stephen Blangino there, one of the two Czechians on the roster. Skaggs' shot goes off the skate of Moraldo and wide into the left wing corner. 33 to go on the 4-on-4, 2 to go in the first period. As here's Pichette on the left side. Maybe thinking for a moment about the wraparound. Soderberg had to go post to post. Now dropped off left side, shot scores! William Chassé has his first as an Owl, and it's 4-0.
Dan, you mentioned that with the 4-on-4, there were fewer bodies on the ice, meant more open area. Chassé was able to just find a soft spot in the Fitchburg defense. He got a beautiful pass right onto his stick. He was able to skate in, to pick his spot, and he nailed it.
That top right corner is so dangerous. Anna Maria scored a couple goals in that top right corner 2 nights ago. That's challenging for most goaltenders. Now a giveaway, a wraparound chance in front, scrambling. Another chance for Westfield State. Penalty's about to expire. Falcons will skate it around to the right side. Now fed out to the left wing boards. Tried to find Cooks and missed the mark. Sagan gets the lone assist on the goal for Chassé. Everything's coming up Westfield in this contest. 4-0, the Owls in front. A whiffed pass for a moment. Finally fed forward for Beauvais, comes off his stick. Owls doubling back there from Danny Finnegan. To the far side. Settled down for a moment. Battling forward in the neutral zone. Westfield squirts it out to the Falcon end. Falcons go D-to-D with 35 to go in the period. Now up ice, Hunter Dunn with a shot. Sticked aside by Gauthier. Fading in the left wing corner with 25 to go in the frame. Trying to feed it forward, just looking for Ryan Morehouse. Comes off his stick to Jesper Seberg. Now taken away by the Falcons. Mateo Orme Lynch with Hunter Dunn to his right. A drop off for Dunn. Now Eloan Orme Lynch. Left side shot goes well wide, now in front. Mateo trying to pitch forward with 5 seconds. Eloan trying to feed Dunn, blocked in front. Can't get a clean pass and can't get a shot away. The shots are 14-14, says the big green board. But the red numbers tell a very different story. Westfield with too many high quality chances. Find the back of the net 4 times in the opening 20.
A tremendous first period for the Owls. On the scoreboard, Dan, it was dominating. And I think, just judging by the play, if you can kind of take the goals out of it and take the game just by how the players looked, Westfield did have the better first period, although I wouldn't think 4-0 would be the score. Fitchburg did have some quality chances, but as you said, Westfield was able to capitalize on pretty much every one they got, and they had some very good chances.
At the end of each period, they do an audit, try to match up the live stats with the big green board. Jim LaPointe keeps his count. The scorers down at the table, Travis Jard and Jamie Rogers, keep their tallies. They match them up at the end of the period and recalibrate the big green board. Shots were 17-13 in favor of Fitchburg in that first period. But I have to say, the quality of chances were in Westfield's favor, and then some.
Fitchburg was pouring pucks in, but Gauthier was able to turn them all away. Can't really say that too many of the Westfield goals are entirely blameable on Freddie Soderberg. I mean, anytime you concede 4 times in a period, it's a difficult period nonetheless. But, Westfield, as you said, Dan, has just had better chances, and they've made the most of them.
It's happened a couple of times this year. Both games the Falcons have played against UMass Dartmouth have been games in which the Falcons have badly outshot UMass Dartmouth, but UMass Dartmouth's chances, while fewer, are far more quality, and the scoreboard reflected that in both cases. And then even the Anna Maria game, that game the Falcons were actually outshot. And, well, it's got to be a bit frustrating, give up you're down 4 goals just 2 nights ago. You've got to be better defensively, and in this game against a Westfield team that you've had their number the past several years, you concede 4 times in the first period. The last time you played them, you conceded 3 times early on and had to climb out of a big hole. But now you've got to climb out of an even deeper hole than last time. Although if there's one positive, there's still 40 minutes of hockey to be played. And hockey is hockey after all.
Hockey is hockey, and we have 40 more minutes of it. Folks, don't go anywhere. We still have 2 periods of hockey to bring you. There's every chance that the Falcons will get back into this one, and you won't want to miss it. So come on back in about 13 minutes for the second period right here on FATV. Back here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University. It is Hockey Night in Fitchburg here on FATV. I'm John Gugerty, joined of course by Dan Bolak. And Dan, Fitchburg State has lost 5 games in a row coming into this, including all 4 of their contests since coming back from the winter break. And they now find themselves down 4-0 after just 1 period of play against the Owls of Westfield State. Is it time for alarms maybe in the Fitchburg locker room?
It's definitely challenging what's going on, especially over the last 48 hours or so. Going down 6-2 against Anna Maria, coming back and losing, and then today coming out, and although outshooting the Owls 17-13 in the first period, they conceded way too many high-quality, high-danger chances, and Westfield struck 4 times, and we're just trying to go over the shots in our head, basically. What's happened since then? A couple of rebounds in which a player's right on the doorstep. That's the Falcons just not getting good positioning. The third goal, right off the draw to the left of Soderberg, Colin Rowe got the puck and got a clean shot straight away at him. It's like to give up a sort of break right in that spot is very, very tough for a goalie and very tough for a team to give up. And then the last one, and a guy got enough time with a lot of empty space, picked the top right corner, which is just a challenging spot for many goalies to try to get that high glove side barred down in that corner. And I can't say any of these goals that Soderberg's given up are necessarily soft, but he's definitely been put in a lot more challenging positions than he really should be. And that's been a problem. I talked with this with Nola Patty a couple nights ago. It's just there have been too many defensive breakdowns in recent days for the Falcons. Too many high-danger opportunities that the opponents are getting, and they are capitalizing.
Fitchburg State's defense already stretched thin. They may be without Nolan Sargent. We saw him go down to the ice late in that first period. He did not return. I think he went down with some single-digit number of minutes left in the period. We did not see him for the remainder of the first period. We'll be interested to see if Nolan Sargent is able to come back and contribute on the defensive end for Fitchburg State. But really, damn, defense, yes, obviously you have defensemen, but defense is a team effort.
Yeah, but I kind of wonder, too, how much of an impact negatively are the Falcons having with the losses of the Macchionis. Really, we mentioned all 3 of the Macchioni brothers are injured with various ailments. Michael Macchioni, a 4-year player for the Falcons, who's been a great force on both sides of the ice. His younger brother Marcus, the youngest of the 3, a first-year player who's drawn into the lineup a number of times this season. And of course the middle brother Max, who has been the other goalie who Freddie Soderberg has been tandeming it with since Soderberg came to Fitchburg State. He only was able to play in the first game this season and hasn't played since due to injuries. And so that's one of those question marks, as I notice Alex Falkenhagen has led the team onto the ice to start the second period. And the Falcons, I guess, noticing, how tough that first period has gone, it's like they're going to go to the one other healthy reserve keeper they've got. And Alex Falkenhagen's going to draw on for the 3rd time in the last 4 games.
Falkenhagen, the sophomore from Thornhill, Ontario, former Minnesota Mullet, finds himself now in goal once again for the Fitchburg State Falcons, who are trailing 4-0 as we get ready for the start of the second period. Folks, we want to take a moment just to let you know if you're interested in being a volunteer for FATV and being part of the crew for our live productions or seeing how the studio works or just interested in FATV at all, drop us a line. contact@fatv.org is the email address if you're interested in volunteering, or if you just want to say that Dan and I are not that great. Or if you want to say we're great. If you want to say we're great, say we're great. Contact@fatv.org.
Absolutely. And so since the Falcons had such a flat first period, let's see if having John Kruger do play-by-play for the second period changes their luck.
Falcons change the goaltenders. FATV changes the play-by-play guy. It'll be fine. It's all going to be fine. Puck is battled for in the left wing corner. Knocked out of the Westfield zone. It'll come all the way down. I believe it came off the skate of a Falcon. Falkenhagen will play it for Sargent. There's Nolan Sargent right back on the ice. We talked about him. Good to see him back out there starting the second period. Skaggs sends it along. Goes off a Falcon stick, back behind the net. Gauthier will play it. Centering pass, opportunity there for the Falcon. Wraparound shot goes wide off the stick of Nick Milhorn. He had a golden opportunity, wasn't able to capitalize. Comes back out to Skaggs. He sends it in, goes off a stick, and is steered away. Chance there for Jeremy Millette. Didn't come to anything for Fitchburg State. Sargent will flip it in. Gauthier knocks it down. Westfield State will clear it away. Falcons change. Owls send it in. Comes in to the near right-hand corner. Sargent will play it. Looked like he was going to send it back behind the net. Decides to go the other way. Christian Hallbig comes along the near side board. Barely kept in at the blue line by a leaping Steven Blengino. He went up above the ice, extended his right hand, was able to keep that one in the offensive zone. Falcons repossess. Blengino once again keeps it in at the blue line. His shot is steered away by Falkenhagen. Cleared out by the Falcons. It'll go all the way down, and we'll get an icing. Exactly 90 seconds gone in this second period. And it'll be a face-off in the Fitchburg end.
One thing that will be a little different for Westfield to get a little used to is there is a size difference in the two goaltenders. Freddie Soderberg, 5 feet 11 inches tall. Alex Falkenhagen is 6'4", one of the taller keepers in the conference.
Crouches down, gets ready to defend the face-off. Sargent sends it all the way back, barely still on the surface. That nearly touched the net, but it stays in play. Back to Sargent in the corner. He flips it up to the red line. Hunter Dunn gains the zone. Back behind the Westfield net. Back out to the blue line for Hallbig. Shot deflected. Steered wide. Battle back behind the net. It's Chris Zapata. His centering pass gets deflected wide, and the Owls will clear. Williams gets the blue line. Pulls up, shot over the net. Just over the shoulder of Falkenhagen, which, as you mentioned, Dan, is above the crossbar when he stands up. Dangerous puck in front of the crease. Steered out. Williams' shot. Kicked away by Falkenhagen. Goes to the far right-hand corner. Cleared out of the zone by the Falcons. And illegally so. It'll be another icing. 17:28 to play here in the second period. Owls still lead Fitchburg State by a score of 4-0.
Falkenhagen's 4th appearance this season. He's made 1 start. That was the first game of this losing streak against Keene State. 0-2 record, 329 goals against, 891 save percentage. He's 41 for 46 in goal this season. He was 13 for 14 2 nights ago. He ended up getting saddled with the loss because he gave up the winning goal.
Bryce O'Rourke sends it along the near side for Perry. He gets it ahead to Morehouse. Pass intercepted by Dunn, but it comes back to O'Rourke. He'll clear it out once again. Neutral zone. Picked up there for the Falcons by Eloan Orme-Lynch. Comes back behind the net. Mateo Orme-Lynch was dispossessed. Falcons will reset, try it again. Declan Bronte gains the line. Leaves it back for Eloan. Eloan shot save made by Gauthier. Eloan Orme-Lynch tried to go low and to the right, but Gauthier was able to get his left leg out there, kick that one away. Centering pass. Eloan Orme-Lynch unable to get the shot off that time. And the Owls barely clear. Falcons retag, get it back. Chanso in front of the middle. Shot save made by Gauthier. Eloan Orme-Lynch has been persistent, but Gauthier has been resolute in his defense.
A few great chances for the Falcons. Definitely getting higher quality looks. And one thing that at least is a positive is, they had to come back from 4 down 2 nights ago. they only had about 24 minutes to do that. This time they've got 40-plus minutes to come back. Now 36 overall in this contest. A little more time to work with in this contest. And they know that it's got to be one at a time. There's not going to be a shot that's going to earn you 4 goals all at once.
There are no grand slams in hockey, at least last time I checked. Board takes it back behind, centering pass, deflects off a stick. Dangerous opportunity there. Emile Pichette unable to bat it home. Falcons are able to clear. Westfield will reset. Back along to Sagan. He sends it forward. Cleared right back out of the zone. And it's right back to Raphael Sagan. He'll try the near side this time, but it was not touched as it came in. I believe that'll be an icing, and we'll go all the way back down the other side of the ice. Shots on goal 20-15 in favor of the Falcons. They've definitely had more chances here in the early stages of this second period. Faceoff will come to the right of Esteban Gauthier. Millette wins it for the Falcons. Comes out to Rennick. His shot takes a deflection and is steered wide by Gauthier. Millette was there. Flicked out by the Owls into the lap of a Falcon on the bench. I believe that's Andrew Wolesen. Finds himself involved in the play, even though he doesn't even have a stick in his hands. Face off again in the Owl zone, this time to Gauthier's left. Millette again wins it for the Falcons. Skaggs plays it along the boards. McMilhorn skates into the circle. Shot saved by Gauthier. Shot saved by Gauthier. Yes, I said it twice. That's because it happened twice. Comes back out to Rennick. He gets it cross ice for Millette. Millette looks, tries the centering pass rather than shooting. Nobody there, and a chance for Westfield State going the other way. Murado gains the zone. Back for Tremblay. He's dispossessed. Comes back out to Finnegan, and he puts it in the back of the net. Daniel Finnegan, the junior from Chicago, makes it a 5-0 game.
Puck just bouncing around as they were making their way into the slot. Players trying to dispossess other players, and Falkenhagen going down, getting up, trying to keep himself in position, but eventually Finnegan gets that break on the left side, is able to backhand it and elevate it over Falkenhagen's pads and into the back of the net. It's the first goal of the season for the junior from Chicago, and it's 5-0 to the blue and white.
There was a young man named Daniel Finnegan. He put that puck in the net again, making it 5-0 in favor of Westfield. Along the near side boards, kicked in the direction of Zapata. It'll be played by Collins. Jackson Collins gains the line, sends it in back behind the net. Golden opportunity. Puck just bounced over the blade of his stick. Gauthier went to play that, Dan, and I don't know if he whiffed it or horribly misplayed it. Collins had a chance, couldn't capitalize.
Little of A, little of B, just couldn't settle it. And if he had been able to, it would have been 5-1.
Turnaround shot from the point, rebound. Dangerous. Falkenhagen unable to contain the initial shot. Couple of rebounds, nothing doing for the Owls. Another shot from the circle. Took a deflection. I don't believe Falkenhagen had to do anything to get rid of that one. Fitchburg State will reset, clear the zone. 13:45 to go here, second period. Not even at the halfway point yet. So if you're the Falcons, you've got to be thinking if Westfield State can score 5 in the first half, we can score 5 in the second. Of course, they've got to stop Westfield State from scoring any more, too. Hunter Dunn with an opportunity. His centering pass cannot find Eloan Orme Lynch. Another shot. We get a whistle. I think we're going to get a penalty. Hooking, I believe, is the call.
You'd be correct.
Hey, I know my signals.
One of the things I'm noticing with the Falcons is there's so many opportunities where they might have a chance, but they're trying to make that extra pass to try to see if they can better maximize their chances of scoring. But in some cases, I think it'd be better just take the initial shot and see if you can challenge Gauthier to control the rebound.
William Chaussee, the guilty party. He will serve 2 minutes in the sin bin for his dalliance in the red light district. Falcons down 5 goals, have the man advantage. Not a must-score situation for them. Still not even halfway through the second period, but you've got to think it's going to be something. We get another whistle here.
Tell you the puck, I think, went out of play. They've gone and gotten a new one.
Apparently vulcanized rubber can just vanish sometimes.
It happens.
Yeah. Understandable. They're prepared for just such an occasion. It'll be an offensive zone face-off for the Falcons. Daniel Finnegan was creeping in, and he was encouraged to back up just a little bit. Rennick at the blue line, skates to the face-off circle. Centering pass couldn't find Eloan Orme-Lynch's stick. Deflects over the net. Players tumble over one another for the puck. And it comes back out to Skaggs at the blue line. We'll reset, do it again. Toivo Kramer takes a shot from the blue line. Deflected, goes wide. Back behind the net as Milhorn knocks over an Owl in front of the net. Westfield State's able to clear. Minute 7, 6 now, 5 to go on the man advantage for the Falcons. They move avec the swiftness as they try to get back into the offensive zone. Dump it in, and the Owls are content to dump it right back out. Eloan Orme-Lynch will gather and skate back into his own zone. Dan, is he wearing 11 or 17?
No, that's Mateo.
That's Mateo Orme-Lynch. He's wearing 17. That makes more sense. Hunter Dunn now with the puck. Shot from Bove. Takes a deflection. Blocked very painfully by one of the Owls.
I think that was Balboni who got in the way of that one, and I believe the play has stopped because the puck is stuck in his equipment.
I think he took that one right to the gut. Puck might have even gone up into his sweater. Referee is able to extricate it. Those are the sacrifices you're asked to make of your body as a hockey player. You can see him. He was actually looking over and laughing with one of his teammates like, yep, we chose to do this. We signed up for this. We volunteered. We don't even have NIL deals. We're not getting paid or nothing. Face-off will come in the offensive zone for Fitchburg State. Millette will reset, try to take it again. Kept in at the blue line by Hallbig, but steered clear. Very well done there by Board. Now a chance for him to kill some time, maybe get a shorthanded opportunity. Coppola's shot is deflected, goes wide. Turnaround shot by Board. Handled well by Falkenhagen. He covers up. It'll be a face-off in the Fitchburg zone with 18 seconds left on the power play.
By the way, just to show how well I can read jerseys, that was actually Raphael Sagan. You see that 0, that 7 looked a lot like a 0 for me.
I misidentified my Orme-Lynch's earlier, so I'm not going to call you out on it. Contact at fatv.org.
Yep. I realized that it may not have been Balboni because I realized the player had a captain's patch. And Sagan is one of the 2 captains of this Westfield State team along with Cooper Board.
Halbig skates it forward with 10 seconds on the power play. Mellett has it taken away from him. Shot out of the zone. That'll kill the last few seconds of the man advantage. We are back to even strength now. 5-on-5 hockey, 11:22 to play, second period. Falcons trail 5-0 as this puck trickles in on Gauthier, and he'll cover it up for a face-off in his own zone. Fitchburg State has looked more lively and potent offensively, Dan. They haven't been able to put it in the back of the net, though. In fact, their deficit has only extended in this second period. Face-off won by the Falcons. Comes along the near side board. Sargent will send it in back behind the net. Chased down there by Nick Weber. Comes back to Sargent. Sargent, Weber, and Collins trying to find it. Sent along the boards by O'Rourke. It comes back out to the red line. Sargent will reset, send it back in. Takes a deflection, goes out of play, and we'll get another face-off.
I think it also struck Weber as he shot it back in, and Weber clearly in an offside position.
Well, that's not good. That's against the rules.
So the face-off comes outside the Owl zone.
Battle forward in the neutral zone, won by Westfield State. Moraldo gains the zone, shoots, goes wide. Sent back behind the net. Turnaround shot, takes a deflection, goes up and over Falkenhagen. Played back behind the zone, behind the net rather, once again. Skaggs gives chase for the Falcons, joined by Collins. Tyler Skaggs able to skate it out. Trenton Skaggs, excuse me. Gains the blue line. Skates it all the way back behind the net before trying a centering pass. That finds no one in particular. Deflected by an Owl. It'll come back to Sargent, and he'll clear it out. Skaggs at center ice will try again. Gets it ahead for Beauvais. Alexander Beauvais battling with Bryce O'Rourke. O'Rourke emerges the victor. He sends it out for Moraldo, who clears the zone. Sent right back in. Beauvais tried to play it. Officials are going to say that he was offside.
Like they ruled the right winger on the far side had just not gotten to the blue line to tag up. That was Amala.
So we get another neutral zone faceoff just outside the Westfield end. 10 minutes on the dot. We are exactly halfway through this second period. A little bit of a delay as Esteban Gauthier takes a look at his net, makes sure that it's perfectly set on its moorings. He's content. Official says drop the puck, and here we go. Skated up along the far side by Perlinati. He sends it along back behind the net, steered along the near side boards. Imala gives chase for the Falcons, but he can't handle it. Rowe has it. His centering pass can't find Williams. Colin Rowe skates all along, finds Daniel Finnegan. Already with one goal in this period, tries to get another, but a save is made by Falkenhagen. 3 skaters right there in front of that one, Dan, but I think it was just a straight shot off the stick of Finnegan into the midsection of Falkenhagen.
Falkenhagen made 7 saves thus far in this second period. At one point you mentioned how the Falcons made a centering pass to no one in particular, and that's one of the issues with that extra pass, is some of those passes have gone to no one in particular.
Dunn's centering pass, unable to find the target there. Good work by Gauthier. Another chance. That time it was Mateo Orme-Lynch unable to put it home. Christian Halbig takes a shot. It's snatched out of the air by Gauthier, and he will catch it and take a breath. Desperate scrambling times between the pipes for Westfield State.
There have been a few moments where the Falcons have had good opportunities but haven't been able to just get it right on target, almost as if they're snake bitten.
Hunter Dunn wins the faceoff, but maybe a little bit too quickly for the linesman's liking. Blow the whistle, try it again. Once more with feeling. Sufficient feeling is achieved. This time Westfield State wins. Flicks it out of the zone all the way down. Falkenhagen decides, you know what, I'm just going to stay between my pipes and let's go get an icing. I could play this puck. Sure, I could, but I don't want to, and I don't got to, so I won't.
If it did, it would be worse, because that would kill the icing.
That would. Then I'd have the puck in my zone instead of the puck being way the hell over there in their zone. I prefer it being way the heck over there in their zone. Faceoff comes to Gauthier's left. Steered off the boards and out of the zone by O'Rourke. Declan Bronte gets it back in. Rennick's centering pass took a deflection off the stick of Milhorn, but it comes back out. The Falcons will reset. Passed under the skate of Bronte to Rennick. Now Jeremy Millette. Millette one-on-one with O'Rourke. He tries the wraparound. And we get, I believe, is that interference? An interference call coming. I think it's going to be against Westfield State, and it will indeed be so. Bryce O'Rourke will spend 2 minutes in the penalty box.
He's sinned again. It's the second time in the bin today.
Went in there once before after a testy exchange with Oliver Cookson, I think you could say. You could characterize that as a testy exchange, could you not?
That'd be fair.
That'd be generous. There was physicality. There was shoving. Trenton Skaggs skating between 2 different Owls, has it back behind the Westfield State net. Try to find someone. Sends it cross ice for Rennick. Rennick tried the centering pass. Comes back out to Toivo Kramer. Kramer to Skaggs. Tries the one-timer, but it's blocked. Never got in on Gauthier. Good defensive work by Colin Rowe. And he just gets rid of it all the way down into the Fitchburg end. Westfield State will change behind. 75 seconds left on the power play. Rennick centering pass for Kramer. Shot save made by Gauthier. Kramer centering pass off the rebound. Didn't result in a shot. Skaggs pass for Orme Lynch. Save. Another shot goes up and over Gauthier. I think that one went parallel to the goal line. Skaggs just flicks it in the direction of the net. Gauthier reaches out, clutches it, and just curls over it like a soldier falling on a grenade. Just hug it very, very close to your body. It'll be fine.
A lot of different chances for the Falcons. They're out shooting the Owls unofficially 9-8 in the second period. But the one goal that's on the board is Westfield's.
Danger off the face-off, rather. Gauthier went sprawling to cover the puck. We'll get another face-off to his right. Millette wins it for the Falcons, comes to Hallbig. Pass, shot, saved by Gauthier. Opportunity that time for Hunter Dunn, the sophomore from Douglas. He was unable to capitalize.
Almost seems funny considering the positioning that he got too much air on that one. Gauthier was able to glove that one. If he got that off the pads, Falcons could have responded on the rebound based on where their positioning was. They were in prime position to take advantage of such a rebound. Good on Gauthier for gobbling that one up.
Millette now to Beauvais. To Hallbig. Dunn tries the slap shot, blocked. Mateo Orme Lynch sends it back behind the Westfield State net. 28 seconds to go on the man advantage. Hunter Dunn's playing without a stick. That's a noted disadvantage. He'll go to the ice to be replaced by a man who has a stick. So now there are 6 Falcon sticks on the ice. Battle along the near side boards. Millette for Orme Lynch. Orme Lynch back out to Toivo Kramer. Kramer's shot might have taken a deflection as it came in, but Gauthier was equal to the task once again. Snatches that puck up, holds onto it for a face-off. 7 seconds left on this power play, Dan. It would be an incredible kill for Westfield State.
If we had advanced analytics and the ability to adjudicate how many expected goals the Falcons would have, how many would they have at this point? I feel like they'd have at least 2.
I feel like expected goals for the game is like 3.9 to 2.1. Does that feel fair? Maybe like 4.5 to 2?
But in whose favor?
Westfield State.
Yeah. We mentioned a lot of those chances that Westfield scored on the first period were very high danger chances.
Along the near side boards, we are indeed back to even strength. Westfield State has killed the man advantage. Now a chance for them as they skate 5-on-5. Falcons unable to clear the zone. Collins battling with Perry along the near side boards. Perry now fights with Weber. Gets sent back behind the Fitchburg net. Picked up there by Sargent. Just over 6 minutes to go here, second period. That puck played off the linesman. That's a live puck, guys. Somebody's got to touch it. Falcons finally do. Weber is onside. His centering pass deflected by Collins. Comes back to Weber. Sets, shoots, goes wide. Runs all along the far side boards and hits the padding. And that'll be ruled a dead puck. We'll get a face-off.
If it hits the linesman, it's still live. If it hits the padding there, it's not.
That padding covering up a very dangerous spot of the ice, so absolutely necessary that it's there. But if the puck touches it, blow the whistle. Face-off in the Westfield zone is won by Westfield. Comes back to center ice along the near side boards. Beauvais gets it into the offensive zone. But Westfield State's able to clear. Out to center ice. Bronte had a chance at it. He loses the handle. Tremblay will gain the zone for Westfield State. Tried to hit Moraldo. Was intercepted with the hand by Kramer. He gave it to himself, though, so that's fine. Westfield State sends it back into the zone. Bronte has it now for the Falcons. He'll skate it out of his zone. Send it ahead for Oliver Cookson. Cookson leaves it back for Beauvais, who will dump in and change. Played for the Owls by Bryce O'Rourke. O'Rourke's been busy. Rennick is tripped up at center ice. Looked to the linesman for a penalty. I don't think he's going to get that, but I do think Westfield State skated into an offside position, so it'll be a neutral zone faceoff.
By the way, Westfield trying to go for the sweep in all sports today as they played the Falcons in men's and women's basketball today. And obviously both sides victorious for Westfield, 105-86 over the men and 88-70 over the women.
Good day for Westfield State Athletics. They try to cap it off with a win here, and they're in pretty good position to do so, leading 5-0 with under 5 minutes to play in the second period. Along the near side boards, Pichette forward to Board. Back to Pichette in the corner. Here comes Seaberg for support. Back out to the blue line, cleared by the Falcons. Rennick gets it to the offensive zone. Tries a centering pass, but it's intercepted by Pichette. Seaberg now, menaced by Rennick. And the Owls are able to clear. Now a long cross-ice pass and a chance shot, save made by Falkenhagen, and he covers up the rebound. Was a dangerous opportunity almost out of nowhere for Westfield State. Dan Cooper Board had broken into the open ice, and he was one-on-one with the goaltender, but Falkenhagen was able to turn him away.
Junior captain from Glen Ellen, Illinois, 6 goals and 5 assists coming into today, already has 1 assist and had a prime opportunity for that 7th goal of the season. Falkenhagen hadn't faced a shot in a few minutes, but he was equal to the test there.
Rowe will play it back behind the Falcon net. Comes back out to the blue line for Sagan. He tries to find Rowe. Falcons are able to intercept that. Dunn gets it ahead to Skaggs. Trenton Skaggs at the faceoff circle, his centering pass. Dunn couldn't put it home. And Dan, I think that's another opportunity of something you mentioned earlier in this period. The Falcons are looking to make the extra pass, which in theory is good hockey, but it ain't working.
The thought in my head is just simplify the game a little bit. Just try to test Gauthier a little more. His glove's been very good, I will admit that.
Skaggs for Dunn. Dunn shot. Hey, what'd you know, Dan? Gauthier has a really good glove. Everything Fitchburg State tries, Westfield State has denied. They pass the puck. Westfield State breaks it up. They shoot the puck. Gauthier makes the save. It's part of the reason they find themselves in this 5-0 hole. Williams skates it into the offensive zone for the Owls. Dispossessed there by Sargent. Steered back behind the net by Falkenhagen. Up and over goes Williams, head over heels, but in a legal manner. Hunter Dunn now gains the blue line, leaves it back for Mateo Orme-Lynch. His shot is deflected, goes wide. Poked out of the zone. Williams will steer it ahead. Mateo Orme-Lynch will set up, play it again. Cross-ice pass for Bronte. Bronte centering pass for Dunn. Dunn will have to circle back on that. Wolazin's shot goes wide. Mateo Orme-Lynch will give chase behind the Westfield net. Bodied away from that by O'Rourke. And the Owls are able to clear once again. 2:40 to play here, second period. Owls lead 5-0 as the puck goes back into the Fitchburg end. Andrew Wolazin will play it along the near side boards for Weber. Back to Wolazin as the Falcons try to clear. The offensive zone, and we get a whistle. Falcons were offside. Everybody take a moment, we'll do it again.
Now it feels like the Falcons are trying to play a little more aggressively. At one point I saw Nolan Sargent skating in as if he was playing as a center, and 4 different players trying to gain the zone at once. So if they're having one of the defensemen on each of these lines try to step up and play as a little bit of a power forward, to see if they can try to get a little more pressure on the Westfield net, because at this point you're down 5-0. What's the point in holding back?
Chance there for the Owls. Louis Ouellette is turned away. Now Weber sent in for the Falcons by Amala. Owls skated out of their zone. Cross-ice pass finds Ouellette. He leaves it for Tremblay. Tremblay's shot save made by Falkenhagen off the right blocker. Along the far side boards, played there by the Falcons. Comes along the near side to Halbig. Halbig's shot save made by Gauthier. Pretty simple for him. Got the left leg down, just kicked that one away. I think that puck hit off of Pichette as he was coming off the bench. Pichette froze as if to say, is that going to be a whistle? Am I in trouble? Ref says play on they do. Chance for the Falcons in the offensive zone. Millette sets up at the face-off circle. Floats it across for Halbig. He takes a shot, and Gauthier says, no, sir, I'll be having that. Thank you very much.
Think of that last case because Pichette clearly had his skates off the ice. He was clearly retiring from the ice at that point and was completely out of the play and disconnecting from the confines of the rink. That if it had gone off him in that part, they'll say he's not part of it. And the play on is interesting, but nevertheless, I'm not 100% sure how that rule gets enforced necessarily in that particular circumstance, but I'm fine with the play on.
Any chance you can keep the puck live is probably the thing to do, unless something's on fire. If something's on fire, you should stop playing hockey. It's a good rule of thumb, I think. Milhorn leaves it back for Rennick. Millette takes a shot, just goes wide of Gauthier. Big hit along the far side by Skaggs. Get some supportive groans from the Fitchburg fans here. Puck sent back behind the net. An Owl's stick just shatters. Falcons have actually pulled the goaltender with the last 45 seconds. There's a delayed penalty coming. Might have had something to do with the slashed stick, as slashing is the call. So we will spend the final 39 9/10 of a second of the second period with Fitchburg State on the man advantage, unless, of course, they're able to score first. Ryan Morehouse, the guilty party. He will be sent to the penalty box without his stick because his stick's broke in half.
Because apparently he slashed someone so hard his stick broke. Normally when you see sticks break on a slash, it's usually because a player's stick got slashed as opposed to that person being guilty of doing the slashing.
Battle in the far corner, comes back out to the blue line. Rennick, cross-ice pass for Kramer, shot deflected, goes wide. Gauthier didn't need to make the save there. Back behind the net, centering pass deflected, goes wide. Comes back out to Skaggs at the blue line. 20 seconds left in the period. Skaggs sets, doesn't fire. Back to Skaggs. Kramer was there. Skaggs gains the circle. Got to do something here. 10 seconds left. Back out to Kramer at the blue line. Positions, fires, save made by Gauthier. And he sticks his hand out as if to say, puck's right here, don't hit me, I've got the puck. 6 seconds on the dot left in this second period. Maybe a chance for Fitchburg State if they can win this face-off cleanly. Does come back out to Kramer. He finds Skaggs, but his shot is blocked by Rowe, and that will see out the final few seconds. Colin Rowe may have sacrificed a stick to do it, but he denies Fitchburg State their final chance of the second period. And we go to the locker rooms once again, 5-0. Westfield has the lead.
If you told the Falcons coming into today, you're going to have 33 shots through 2 periods of play, they'd say, that sounds good. I think that sounds good.
And if you told the Falcons, if you're going to have 33 shots and 5 goals will be scored, they'd probably have taken it.
They would have taken it, and then they're coming down there, and it's like, this script stinks.
Well, you know, can't always get what you want, and I'm not saying that this is what the Falcons needed. It certainly isn't after losing their last 5 games and finding themselves down 5 goals with 20 minutes to play. But if you're looking for positives, Dan, they were much more aggressive in the second period. They controlled a great deal of the pace of play. They had a vast difference in shooting in their favor. There are positives for Fitchburg State. It just isn't manifesting in the goal column.
Sometimes hockey is like that, where you've got a large number of chances, but in this particular contest, Esteban Gauthier, again playing just his second career game for the Owls, he has just been on it tonight. 33 saves for the freshman netminder from Saint-Jury, Quebec, the same hometown as the first goal scorer from 2 nights ago in Guillaume Colombe.
We mentioned Gauthier with those 57 saves his first time out, 33 tonight. He has faced plenty of volume in his 2 chances in goal for the Owls, and for the most part, Dan, he has acquitted himself very, very well.
He has. He's looked really strong at his rebound control. Well, and his glove control as well. Only once or twice we've seen a puck go off his gloves. He's done very well to acquit himself and really, and I imagine for Aiden Winslow, the goaltender who's been the starter this season, he probably is appreciating the night off. And that's something that we've mentioned, because of the Falcons' goaltending injury woes, the fact they've only been able to address 2 of their 4 keepers for much of this season. Freddie Soderberg hasn't had the opportunity to take nights off. But now Alex Falkenhagen, he's been acquitting himself fairly well and trying to make an argument that he should get some more games, if only not just because he's earning the opportunity to get some more game time, but perhaps even to give Soderberg a bit of a break.
A little bit more rest for the Falcon goaltender may be what's needed. It may be to come. We can only wait and see. And speaking of wait and seeing, we can wait and see what the third period brings to us. Dan and I will take the period break with the players. Come on back, folks, in just about 12 and a half minutes for period number 3. It is Hockey Night in Fitchburg, and it's here on FATV. Back here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University, where Fitchburg State finds themselves trailing the Owls of Westfield by a score of 5-0 as we get ready to begin the third period of action. I'm John Gugerty, joined as always by Dan Bullock. And Dan, Fitchburg State needs to get busy one way or another here in this third period. Get busy scoring or get busy losing.
This past second period, they outshot the Owls 16-10, but the one goal went on the board on the Owls side. That was Danny Finnegan's first goal of the season. In the first period, goals by Emile Pichette, Emile Tremblay for Colin Rowe, and the first career goal for William Chaussee. Freddie Soderberg was 9 of 13 in the first period, gave way to Alex Falkenhagen, who went 9 of 10 in the second period. But the other story of this game has been Esteban Gautier's play. Second career game for the Owls, 33 saves already for the Quebecois Nutminder.
It's very rare, Dan, for a team to score 5 goals in a game and come out of it with an argument for first star to the goaltender. But I would say Gauthier has earned it with his play through these first 2 periods.
And well distributed are the points. I think only one player has 2 points. It's like, just looking at the players, I think, look at all these numbers I've written down. I think maybe just Pichette, Emile Tremblay might be the only one who's got multiple points right now in this contest.
If that.
That's what it looks like.
And it's an impressively broad score sheet for the Owls. Everyone contributing in one way or another. It really has been a great team game for Westfield State. We mentioned they came in after just having a 3-game road winning streak snapped at home. Well, maybe there's something going on. Maybe the Owls just play better on the road.
Well, yeah, I mean, they still do technically have a 3-game road winning streak.
That's true. It'll be a 4-game road winning streak if this score holds.
And that would break a 4-game winning streak for the Falcons against the Owls, who have not won here at the Wallace Civic Center since 2017, January the 12th. That was a 4-1 win. The Owls, in their last 10 visits to Fitchburg, 0-9-1. But they're looking to come away with the victory, and if the Falcons lose this game, that'll match their longest losing streak since the 2003-2004 season, in which they lost 6 games in a row. And the interesting thing is, if the Falcons do lose that game and they're looking to exercise their demons, their next game is against the team of which this losing streak started on Martin Luther King Day, against Keene State.
Couldn't script it any better, I suppose. They will play Keene State on Monday, 2:15 game. Then they go to Rivier. They're back here next Saturday. And Dan, we'll have that game on FATV, won't we?
Yes, it'll be part of a doubleheader of coverage. 5 o'clock, Fitchburg State will take on UMass Dartmouth for the 3rd time this season. And they had to play an extra non-conference conference game because Codfish Bowl reasons. So 5 o'clock start there, but before that, at 2 o'clock, we'll have some high school hockey. Monty Tech Fitchburg will be playing host to the Worcester Wildcats. Monty Tech Fitchburg, as we speak, are playing in Chicopee.
So a doubleheader of action next Saturday here on FATV, but there is still the matter of this third period. It can be done if you're a Fitchburg State fan. Stranger things have happened than a slightly favored home team coming back from a 5-goal deficit in the span of 20 minutes. Fitchburg State will start the period with 1:21 on the power play. Ryan Morehouse still serving time for his infraction back in the second. In the immortal words of the great Jim Carrey, so you're saying there's a chance?
There is a chance. Falcons go left to right in the alternate golds, and Westfield State in the powder blues will go right to left in this third period. Gauthier just spits that all the way down, and that's going to be a shot on target. How about that?
Not quite a goalie goal, but he'll take a goalie shot.
We had a goalie goal just last night, by the way.
That's right.
Alex Nedeljkovic, first player in NHL history to score a goal and an assist in the same game.
First goaltender.
First goaltender to do that. It's his 4th career professional goal. Falcons keep it in the zone. Trenton Skaggs keeps it in at the right point. Now back out to the left point. Kramer look for a redirection. Falcons have 4 forwards on the ice here. You could show they're really trying to go aggressive in this third period. We talked about it a little bit where it looked like they were using some defensemen as a forward, but now in that run of play, they started with 4 forwards on the ice. Still 20 seconds to go on the man advantage. Of course, that probably was because the carryover power play, which the Falcons often do use 4 forwards. Falkenhagen trying to backhand it out of the reach of Cooper Board. Hunter Dunn having trouble settling it. Jeremy Millette with a nice toe pick. Spins around, keeps it away from Board. That's going to kill out the rest of the penalty. Out of the box comes Morehouse. Coaching staff says come back to the bench as Jeremy Millette took a tumble there. The collision was clean, and he obviously could not get back on side. And so they'll blow the play dead there. 1:29 gone in the third, a 5-0 lead for Westfield.
Dan, I have a bone to pick with you, and this is very serious. These are not powder blue. They're Carolina blue. Powder blue is lighter than this.
I'm not sure I fully agree.
Oh, we're going to have this out. Call hockey.
Owls have it on the left side. Trying to move it onto the left point, can't be kept in. Battling there, Raphael Sagan, holding at the left point. Christopher Moraldo taking it back, and now a pass forward. Goes off an Owls gate on the right side of the red line, so no icing coming out of that. Falcons move it up ice, near side, Michael Amala. Amala cutting up the center of the ice, he has no reinforcements. Tried to pass it off to the reinforcement in Jackson Collins. Owls just knock it away with the stick, send it down the ice. Skaggs leaves it for Nolan Sargent. Circles and keeps the puck away from Moraldo. O'Rourke out to the center of the ice. Here is Pichette. Drop pass for nobody at first, but Chaussee will take it. Put it around in the left wing corner. Thrown through the slot out to the right side. Chaussee keeping it along. Players colliding at the blue line. Puck comes out of the zone. Here's Collins trying to move it along. Too many Owls in the way. Knocked back into the neutral zone. And a shot from the right side, fought off by Falkenhagen. Jackson Collins behind the net. Pass out to the right side. Falcons have spent so much time in this game in their own end, just trying to get themselves set up, and now Nick Weber skating it all the way up. Has to fight pretty much all of the Owls in front. Ends up losing a handle on the puck.
Could you say that his motion was broken up in Parliament?
Taken all the way back behind the Falcon net, McKinney trying to move it along, far side. Now nudged forward, Eloan Orme-Lynch. He's on the ice, but Hunter Dunn was the one who moved that last. Owl loses his edge in the left wing corner. Falcons try to converge. Now out of the zone it goes, splits everyone, goes all the way down. No icing, ruled obtainable by McKinney. Out to the right side, turnaround shot, redirected on goal, and stopped by Falkenhagen. Mateo Orme-Lynch has it lost. A drop pass looking for Rowe. Can't get a stick on it. Falcons stretch it up again, a 2-on-2. Eloan Orme-Lynch's shot blockered away by Esteban Gauthier. Owls coming back the other way. Colin Rowe, he's got the third goal for the Owls in this contest. Going around the net, whistle, a penalty coming with 15:35 to go in the third. Gauthier making a beeline to the bench will indicate that the penalty would be against Fitchburg.
See, powder blue is like half a shade lighter than this. Like the Kansas City Royals alternate uniforms. Those are powder blue. This is the color of the University of North Carolina. It is Carolina blue. I rest my case.
Mateo Orme-Lynch will go to the box for 2 minutes. I thought about a retort and I decided that this is a fight that's not worth having. Owls are on their second power play of the contest. As Emile Pichette trying to put all the moves on, trying to beat everybody. Couldn't quite do so. Falcons picking up on the near side. Chris Zapata. For Mateo Orme-Lynch's 5th trip to the box this season. That's out on the far side. Emile Pichette, whose goal currently stands as the winner if the clean sheet is maintained. Raphael Sagan dumps it into the zone, goes behind the Falcon net, bounces off the board to the right side. That's basically how the winning goal was scored Thursday night. It was just that an Amcat got to the puck before any Falcon could. As it got to the right side of the paint. That ricochets off a player into the netting, out of play. 14:39 to go in the third, 5-0 Westfield. An out-of-town scoreboard. Anna Maria, Thursday night's opponent, came away with a 5-1 win over Salem State. Great showing for the Amcats, trying to put a stranglehold on second place in the MASCAC. Later tonight, well actually having already started an hour ago, Riviere is at UMass Dartmouth, and having started a little over half an hour ago, Plymouth State playing MCLA. MCLA had a very surprising win on Thursday night over UMass Dartmouth. So that shot goes off the iron. On the left side, 45 to go on this man advantage for the Owls. The Falcons able just to knock it out of the zone. Danny Finnegan will pick it back up, go to Cooper Board. Board shot deflects into the netting and out of play.
Trenton Skaggs was there, got his stick on that one. Sent it up and out of play into the netting. Gave a little scare to the folks who were gathered outside the ice watching this game and also the Chiefs game, but mostly this game.
Draw will come to the right of Falkenhagen. 14:04 to go in the third. 29 on the man advantage for Westfield. They're on search of their 4th power play goal of the season. It's on the right side. Finnegan. That right point shot save, rebound, and is controlled on the left wing boards and finally cleared out of the zone.
I think Sammy Rennick got down and was able to block the shot off of that rebound. That's why there wasn't another shot in on Falkenhagen.
Now to the near side. Here's Jesper Seberg. He gains the zone. Passes off for Board. That ends up rising high and wide. Maybe Falkenhagen got a piece. Penalty is up. And back to full strength are the Falcons as Mateo Orme-Lynch has been freed. To the near side it comes and picked up by Stephen Blagino. Stephen Blagino, the freshman defenseman from Pribram, Czechia. One of 2 Czechians on this roster along with Thomas Miller, who is playing the role of Sir not appearing in this contest tonight. That can't be kept in by Declan Bronte. And comes all the way down the ice. Christian Halbig will go and retrieve. Back for Bronte. And he'll take it again. Amala can't handle it. And it goes straight past his stick. Into the hands Dominic Balboni. But here's Bronte on the left side. Some space. The extra pass there. Delayed penalty is against Westfield. Halbig throws it towards goal. Just goes wide. Mateo Orme-Lynch races to it to keep it alive. 6 skaters on the ice for the Falcons. Westfield has not established possession yet. Falcons scored under the late penalty 2 nights ago. Bronte with a shot redirected over the net. Official's arm getting some work, staying high in the air. As finally, it'll be sufficiently touched up to call the penalty with 12:14 to go in the third.
Dan, you'll never guess which Westfield Owl is going back into the penalty box unless you guess the guy who's been in there all night.
Bryce O'Rourke for the third time?
It's Bryce O'Rourke for the third time.
If he goes in there one more time, he'll actually have matched the number of minors he had coming into tonight. The sophomore from Royal Oak, Michigan, has played 12 games. They've been probably a teammate of Freddie Soderberg's. They both played for the Metro Jets. Toivo Kramer's shot turned aside by Gauthier. And Westfield corrals the loose puck, sends it down the length of the ice. It's like St. Bernard's going to be the home team in the next game coming up here at the Wallace Civic Center.
We've had the Bernardians warming up in the hallway behind us here at the press box. It's one of the charms of the intimate confines of the Wallace Civic Center. Let's go with that.
There's so much space at the top of the stands to run up and down. A lot of teams love using that space to get themselves all warmed up. Trent Skaggs goes to the left point, top of the circle, shot turned aside by Gauthier, rebound goes just wide. Trent Skaggs gets it back at the right point, tries to get the pass off to Kramer, intercepted instead, taken up ice. Here's Nicholas Coppola, who earns a breakaway and earns a goal. Short-handed goal for Nicholas Coppola, the junior from Glendale, Arizona's got his first of the season. And if it wasn't over before, it is now 6-0 Westfield.
And Dan, like all of Coppola's great achievements, it was one man's vision that made it happen. He was on the defense. He was able to pick the pocket of the Falcons skating at him. He just had more speed going down the ice, found himself one-on-one with Falkenhagen, and he put it away. A solo effort from top to bottom.
Fourth shorthanded goal of the season for the Westfield State Owls. And they've made it a half dozen in this one. Westfield's all-time high for goals in a game against Fitchburg State is 8, by the way. They've done that twice, once in 2008, and that was at the Codfish Bowl at UMass Boston. Here's a 2-on-1 developing, and another goal! Oh. It's Louis Ouellette, the freshman with his fourth goal this season. Another shorthanded goal for the Owls. They put home the extra point and it's 7-0.
You mentioned, Dan, that Fitchburg State was playing very aggressively. They had done so once again on the power play, putting more and more bodies forward, desperately trying to get back into this one. So when something happens, when there's one mistake, one turnover, creates a 2-on-1 going the other way. Ouellette was able to take advantage.
Here is Jackson Collins on the left side. McKinney can't get the redirection. Now Westfield with 5 shorthanded goals this season, 2 on this very power play. That's finally come to an end. Here's McKinney with the shot, redirected wide off the stick of Zapata. O'Rourke takes in the left wing corner. Taken there as well as Finnegan. Throws down ice out of the reach of Board.
Board, incidentally, was credited with an assist on that last goal.
That'll go down, and that will be icing. 9:46 to go in the third, 7-0 Westfield. So the other time that Westfield hung 8 on the Falcons was in 1989. And Westfield put 8 on the board. And you know what the funny part is? They lost badly.
Ooh.
Fitchburg somehow scored 16 goals.
Aye.
And
were college goaltenders on strike?
It was 1989. It was fire wagon hockey. And then the two teams didn't play again for another 19 years. You may wonder, they're in the same conference. How did they not play for 19 years? Around that time, I think Westfield called it a day for a while.
I mean, listen, if you play a 16-8 hockey game against a team, you're not going to want to see them for 10 years. I understand.
19, and now down in front, the Falcons finally break up the shutout. Gauthier was on his wallet, down and out. And about 3 chances on goal. It's finally put home. Nick Weber leads the handshake line ever so slowly. The Falcons finally have a goal to show for their efforts. on the 37th shot on goal. Just a lot of helter-skelter. And the Falcons have assured that Esteban Gauthier will not be getting his first collegiate shutout today. Owls pick it up here, as on the near side coming is Emile Tremblay into the zone. Falcons off the boards. Assists there will be Nick Weber's goal. Alexander Beauvais and Trenton Skaggs picked up the assists. For Weber, that's his third goal of the season. Weber's a junior. He's a double transfer. That goes for icing. Started his collegiate career with Post University down in Connecticut. Played 1 year for the Eagles. Was the leading scorer on that team. Then took a season a little closer to home. He's from Peoria, Arizona. Played a year at Northern Arizona. They have club hockey there. The only NCAA program in the state of Arizona is at Arizona State. And then he decides to give NCAA hockey a shot again. Now playing with Fitchburg State to tie in Post to another local tie. Max Bolak, a 50-goal scorer for the Fitchburg Monty Tech side, now plays for Post. Also my fourth cousin, but that only partially played into the reason I'm referencing that.
Just a little bit.
On the far side, here is Cookson getting the loose puck. Out at the center circle. Backhanded in by Nicholas Coppola. Battling behind the net as it goes to the right wing corner. 7:58 to go in this contest. 6-goal lead for the Owls, 7-1. Falcons will try to move it up ice while the Owls complete their line change. Sammy Rennick trying to move that along. Backhands it towards goal and it'll be sticked away by Gauthier. Bronte with a shot from distance. That one stopped by Gauthier as well. Bronte is also another double transfer. Played a little bit for Salem State and then played last year at Franklin Pierce, which is just up the road in Ringe.
And similarly, not too many NCAA programs near his hometown, which is in Australia.
Indeed, they play ice hockey in the winter in Australia, which is our summer. He's played a little bit in the Australian League, which is amateur. Westfield State had a player, Jake Radcliffe, a number of years ago from the Oceanics. I forgot if he's from New Zealand or Australia, but he played in that league as well. Out to the left side, shot blocked. Picked up in the corner by Reddick. Now Millette trying to get a move on that. Sagan takes it instead and gets it out of the zone. Dumped back in by Halbig. Falcons will tag up and change lines.
Wasn't it Sagan who blocked a shot with his gut earlier and had to be helped off the ice?
Yep.
He just got another bruise. That's dedication, man. You're up 7-1 and you're still sticking your leg out to block a shot.
They're tough. They're hockey players, and he's a captain.
It's true. That kind of stuff is how you earn that captaincy.
Absolutely. Here's Mateo Orme-Lynch. Out to the left side, a shot blocked in front, and hey, how about another one? That was Sagan again who wore that shot. Mateo Orme-Lynch on for Elawan Orme-Lynch, wearing 11 today because there's no 33 in this jersey set. Elawan is the first Falcon to ever wear 33, don't you know? That'll be dumped in. Gauthier will call for it, make the catch. And that'll be the second out of the 8th inning.
So how does it come to be that a guy gets a number that no one's ever gotten before? Does he just really like double numbers? Does he go to the team and specifically say, look, I know this has never been done, but I was a huge fan of Larry Bird?
So the Falcons got a new set of jerseys this year, home and road. And with the new set of jerseys, they added the number 33 to the rotation, which has just never been in the sets before. And this set of jerseys, these gold ones, are several years old. In fact, if you look at last year's photos, as Isaiah McKinney gets a shot that rises over the crossbar, you'll notice that the Falcons wore these gold jerseys for picture day last year. And if you look at all the headshots, you'll notice Nicholas Milhorn's jersey is just a slightly different shade of yellow because 24 wasn't in the original set. So they had to get a special jersey that was made with a special number 24, and they just haven't secured a 33 yet. So thus Eloan gets number 11, which has not been given out in the new set of jerseys. I don't know if that's in the new set of jerseys or not. A 14 was skipped over as well. That could be a spare jersey. I mean, I think the way that it works, the Falcons have 30 jerseys on hand. Something to that effect. And historically, it's always been you do a set of 1 to 30, then you take the 28 and you swap it out for a 35, and then you're all good. But this year, the 33 somehow got in there. Maybe it was intended to be a 5th goalie number. I'm not sure. I'm not the one who made the decision in terms of ordering jerseys, as that's shot in on Falkenhagen, and he'll hold that for a draw.
I have a follow-up question, if I may.
Sure.
What did 28 do? What's wrong with 28?
They've just never really had a 28.
Okay.
I think they've had it. Maybe they've had a 28 a long time ago, but it's been.
It's not like basketball, where for the longest time the numbers were determined by what the referees could signal with their hands.
Yeah, but only in the last year or so. It was just last year that they changed the rule and allowed 6 through 9 to enter the college game. A couple shots fought off there by Falkenhagen. The Falcons haven't given out 28 since 1994, in case you were wondering. So it was once in the set. Also, if you go back to the numbers, you'll know that every Falcon goalie in the last 20 years has worn either 129, 30, or 35. So I kind of half wonder if 33 was maybe to give another option, but with the 4 goalies taking the 4 numbers that are there, that maybe that 33 just happened to go to a forward instead. The last Falcon goalie who didn't wear one of those 4 numbers was Kevin Clem, who wore 27 because Brian Baldessere was wearing 29. And I imagine if you are a Falcon fan dating back to the early 2000s and then some, you probably appreciated that trip down memory lane, which I'm going off of just text and numbers because I wasn't around for any of those games. But sometimes you find yourself with a lot of free time when you're researching statistics and the like. Under 4 minutes to go in this contest, 7-1 Westfield in front. Coppola will dump it into the zone, call in a row in pursuit. Both of them have goals today. Coppola will spin around and turn that loose puck back into the zone. And once again, the Falcons will have to make their way up ice from deep in their own territory, trying to hit Milhorn on a stretch pass. He got at least a stick on it to turn in the direction of goal and kill any icing and force Gauthier to make a play on it. Now here's Reddick with a shot. That's off Gauthier's glove. Didn't have that cleanly secured, but he'll take the save nevertheless, especially as the Owls get on that loose puck and carry it out of the zone.
For the early part of this game, Dan, that was the difference there. Those rebounds, you know, they were going all Westfield State's way. Freddie Soderberg would make the initial save, but the rebound went right to an Owl more often than not, and it wound up in the Fitchburg goal.
And it wasn't like these rebounds were like bouncing 10, 15 feet out. They were bouncing 1-2 feet out, and it's just an Owl was there to win the puck battle, and they got rewarded. Cooper Board, get up on this puck on the right side. Shot saved by Falkenhagen. Picked up on the left side, taken away. Dunn has a stick knocked out of his hands. Officials will say play on. Probably a good argument for a call there. But also with 2.5 minutes to go in a well-decided game, maybe they let that one go. Falkenhagen will leave behind his own net.
Certainly did seem like Emile Pichette had more than a little to do with the Falcon player suddenly forgetting how to hold on to his lumber.
Falcons will carry it up ice. On the near side, Isaiah McKinney, self-pass, has some room to work with. Now has it on his backhand and just feeds it along. Finds Mateo Orme Lynch on the left side. Turns around, shoots, looks for a redirection with Amala in front, but ends up going behind the net. Out to the near side. Here's Finnegan into the zone. Held up at the blue line. And for Zapata into the zone. Zapata overskates his own puck. So he throws it out to the left side all the way to the point. Now Trenton Skaggs can't hold on to the puck. Thrown in the direction of goal, but it goes behind the net. 90 seconds to go. Long stretch of hockey without a whistle. As Amala will dump in around the boards. Weber, who's got the goal for the Falcons, in pursuit, is able to win the puck from Stephen Legino. Now comes out to Skaggs again, wants a redirection. Zapata can't get his blade on it. Out of the zone it comes. Under 65 seconds to go in the contest. Zapata loses his edge. Here's Weber. Weber into the zone. Now to the near side, Bronte. That one intercepted. Westfield suddenly has a 3-on-2. Some quick, sharp passing. And finally get a shot off, and it's blocked. Falcons will skate it up with 42 to go. Toivo Kramer. Now on the left wing corner. Beauvais moving around right side, try to backhand, nothing going there. 25 seconds to go. Declan Bronte will switch places. Bronte trying to cut right to the goal. Bronte, his shot, save, rebound, loose, and it doesn't go. Cookson tried to backhand it blindly and just couldn't get it past Gauthier. 10 seconds to go in the contest. It's held up in the neutral zone. We go basically the last 5 minutes without a whistle, and Westfield State, for the first time in 8 years, will take a victory at the Wallace Civic Center, 7-1.
Dan, when we were talking before the game, we said it was a very even match on paper. Fitchburg State maybe the slight favorites. It did not play out that way. Westfield State scored 4 in the first period to take command, and they never let go. They never let up, really, until those final 5 minutes of the game when it seemed like the teams were just skating it out. 7-1 the final. We said after the first period that it didn't feel like 4-0. It kind of does feel like 7-1. Westfield State dominated this game.
In terms of the quality of chances, they just had some really good ones. And then in this third period, 2 shorthanded goals for the Owls, in which they just took advantage of defensive breakdowns, a breakaway and a 2-on-1, and not a whole lot Alex Falkenhagen could really do. Not really any soft ones in this contest. All of these goals were well earned by Westfield State, and this victory is well earned as well. The Owls now back to 500 in conference and above 500 overall, and for the first time in 21 years, the Falcons have lost a 6th consecutive game. And if they lose on Monday against Keene State, I don't know if they've ever lost 7 in a row. And I don't know if I can easily look that up either. This was definitely not the effort the Falcons were hoping to get out of this contest. They fell down early and never really could get themselves back up and righted. And although they did get 41 shots on Esteban Gauthier, Gauthier was just very, very solid in goal. 40 saves for the freshman, making his 2nd career game. And with how well distributed the scoring was for the Owls, nobody with more than 2 points in this contest. I think it's safe to say that Gauthier deserves the #1 star from us.
A tremendous performance by Gauthier. Again, 40 saves for him. He had 57 in his first game that coming back against
Assumption,
thank you.
Back on the 12th of December. 57 of 60 in his debut, 40 of 41 tonight.
Tremendous efforts by him. Why has he only played twice, I wonder?
Well, Aiden Winslow's just played so well in goal, a .938 save percentage. He has the best save percentage in the conference.
That'll do it. Westfield State is in the position, I think, of having 2 very, very good, very, very young freshman goaltenders.
Yep, they graduated Valtteri Valtonen and Kevin Chandler last year, who were really good goaltenders for 3 years, would have stayed for 4 if a pandemic hadn't had some havoc there. And Westfield has done a tremendous job in replacing those 2 veteran goaltenders. Both these freshmen are more than capable of playing at this level. Westfield State goes to 8-7 overall, 4-4 in the conference. They pick up points number 10, 11, and 12 in the standings. They're not ahead of Fitchburg yet, who fall to 4-4 in the conference. Fitchburg's still ahead on 13 points, but now at 500 with a 7-7 record. And not a whole lot of rest for them. 2 days from now, they're going to be back in action. They're going to go up to New Hampshire for the next 2 games. Keene State on Monday, Riviere on Thursday. Now, Keene State is a non-conference game, their last non-conference game of this season. Riviere is conference, and Riviere is second from the bottom in the league with a 1-5-1 record. You have to think that the Falcons are going to be looking to these 2 games as a way to get right before they come back home on Saturday and take on a UMass Dartmouth team that has just given them the fits this season.
They will play UMass Dartmouth next Saturday here at the Wallace Civic Center. We will have that game on FATV. We will also have the Monty Tech Fitchburg game before it, a doubleheader of hockey next Saturday on FATV. Before we say goodbye, Dan, we want to thank Travis Falk once again running the camera and the audio for us tonight. Travis, as always, does a tremendous job for us here at FATV. We're always thankful for his efforts. But Dan, just a very important 2-game road trip for Fitchburg State before they come back here to the Civic Center next Saturday.
Got to try to find a way to get right. And right now, it's just been, this was a rough week for them, conceding 14 goals in 2 games. That's never been in the playbook for the Falcons, if you will. And trying to, and what was a 7-1 start, starting to spiral a little bit out of control. You know, some of these injuries have been really tough to deal with, and it's really made the Falcons a more vulnerable team.
We'll see if the Falcons can get right on the road before they come back home. We will see you for that game next Saturday. For right now, I'm John Gugerty. You'd think I'd know my own name after all these years. I'm John Gugerty for Dan Bolek, saying thank you so much for being with us, folks. We will see you next time right here on FATV.